and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we are going to learn how to crochet step by step this beautiful hooded shawl. We will start as a shawl and then we're going to close it and continue as an infinity scarf. It's very easy, very simple to crochet. I used a total of 3 skeins of the yarn Grassmore DK, where each skein is 100 grams and about 290 meters each skein. Now we are going to see the yarn that I'm using in a little bit. Now before we start, I would like to remind you that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and press the bell button so you're getting notified every time a new video is up, because we're going to have many new videos now for winter time. Don't forget to like the video and please leave a comment to tell me whether you liked it or not. If you have any suggestions about the videos or anything, all the videos help me to improve myself, improve the videos so they are as much helpful for you as possible. Okay? And if you have any questions, please leave them under the video so I can help you about the project or anything else that you need about crocheting. Okay, so now let's see the material that I'm using and how to start our project. The yarn that I'm going to use is Grassmore DK. Each skein is 100 grams and about 300 meters. It's 75% acrylic, 25% wool. And I'm going to crochet with a 4mm crochet hook. Now let's see how to start our project. Let's start crocheting our easy design. And I'm going to start with a magic circle. If you do not know how to work the magic circle, you can chain 4, slip stitch on the first chain to form a ring, and whatever I work in the center of my magic circle, you can work it in the center of your ring. So in order to start the magic circle, take the yarn and wrap it around your 2 fingers once and bring it on the top left. Put your hook under the right yarn and over the left. Grab it and bring it over. Turn your hook around once to form a loop. Grab the left yarn and pull it through the loop. By doing this, you have secured your circle, but you also have worked the first chain for your project. So I'm going to work 2 more chains. So I have 3 chains which count as a double crochet, and I'm going to work 2 more double crochet in the center of my circle. So I have 3 double crochet, okay, chain 2, and 3 double crochet under the center of my circle. 1, 2, and 3. Now grab the yarn that you started the magic circle with and pull it tight. So this is row 1 in the beginning of the shawl. Now this chain 2 space will always be the center of my shawl, and I'm always going to be working 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the center of the circle. Now in the way that I'm going to start row 2, you are going to be starting every single row for the shawl. So chain 3, which always counts as your first double crochet, and work 2 more stitches in the first double crochet. By doing this, we have worked 3 double crochet in the first stitch. This is my increase. Now chain 1 and go ahead in the chain 2 space and work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now chain 1, and in the last stitch of the row you are always going to be working 3 double crochet in the last stitch, where the last stitch is a chain 3. So counting from the bottom to the top, put your hook in that 3rd chain up here in the peak and work 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. So this was the end of row 2. Now we're going to start row 3 by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3, and always work 2 more stitches in the first stitch of the row. So 2 and 3. Always after every set of 3 double crochet, chain 1, and always work a set of 3 on every chain space, on every chain 1 space. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, and in the chain 2 space in the center of the shawl, work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and 3 more double crochet under the same chain space. Now chain 1, work a set of 3 in the chain 1 space, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and work your last set of 3 in the last double crochet of the row. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so this was the end of row 3. Now the next 2 rows of the granny square we're going to work off camera because the process is exactly the same. Always start with a chain 3 and 2 more double crochet in the first stitch. Always chain 1 after every set of 3, and always work 3 double crochet in every chain 1 space. And in the center, always work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. So work the next 2 rows off camera, and when I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on to start the repetitions of the design. I have completed crocheting my 2 extra rows, and at this point I have a total of 5 rows with my granny square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to start row 6, which is going to be the first row of my rows of repetition, and it's going to be the good side of my project, the right side, okay? Because we're going to have a right and a wrong side, and as we go through the rows, you're going to see better which one is the right side and which one is the wrong. So I'm always starting with a chain 3. 1, 2, 3, turn the work. And always start crocheting from the first stitch 2 more stitches in order to have 3 double crochet in the first stitch. Now in this row I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch across. Okay, so 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, not under it because the result is not going to look nice. Okay, we want to work in the chain, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so keep working 1 double crochet in every stitch, 1 double crochet on the 3 stitches up here, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the chain 2 space, and 1 double crochet in every stitch going downwards, and in the last stitch you're going to work again your 3 stitches. Once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on. I've completed working the first row of repetitions with 1 double crochet in every stitch. Now, starting from the bottom up to right before the increases for the center of the shawl, I have a total of 21 double crochet. Then I work the increase in the center, and then 21 stitches in total going downwards. Now we're going to start row 7, which is the second row of repetitions. Okay, so when I mentioned that we're going to do the repetitions all over from the beginning, this is how you're going to start, with a double crochet. And the second row of repetitions now, which is the wrong side of our project, okay, is row number 7. So we are always starting with 3 chains. Turn the work 2 more stitches in the first double crochet to have your 3 stitches of increase in the beginning. Okay, now in this row I'm going to be chaining 1, skip 1 stitch, put your hook around the second double crochet to work a front post double crochet. So in order to work a front post, what I want you to do is put your hook on the right side of the stitch from the front to the back. Bring out your crochet hook out from the left side. Okay, so you're pulling outwards the stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it under the stitch, and now grab the yarn, pull through 2 and pull through the last 2 to work your double crochet. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch, put your hook around the second one to work a front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the second one, around it. Okay, so you're pulling it outwards to work a front post double crochet. Chain 1, put your hook around the second stitch to work a front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one and work a front post double crochet. So this is the result that we have at this point. Keep working the same pattern. Now the last stitch that you're going to work, since you're crocheting correctly, is going to be the second stitch before this one. Okay, so this is where your last front post double crochet is going to fall, right around this stitch. Once I reach this point, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to continue. Now I'm almost done crocheting upwards. Okay, and as I mentioned, the last front post will be the second before the last stitch when you're working upwards. Okay, so we have 1 more stitch left. Of course, you have worked 1 chain after the last double crochet. Now, because on the good side, when we work the front posts, we have like an outline here, like a little border, and we want to continue to have that on the increase as well. Now for these rows, on the chain ones and the front post double crochet row, we will never work in the chain 2 space. Instead, the 3 double crochet increase for the center, we are going to work it on the last double crochet, around the last double crochet over here. Okay, so put your hook around the stitch and work the first double crochet, yarn over once, put your hook around the same stitch for a second time and work your second front post, yarn over once, put your hook around the same stitch for the 3rd time. Okay, for the 3rd front post double crochet. Now chain 2. Do not work anything on the chain 2 space. Go right away on the first double crochet that works downwards. Okay, and work your 3 stitches around the first stitch. So 1, yarn over once, wrap your hook around the same stitch again, 2, yarn over once, wrap your hook around the same stitch for a 3rd time, to work your third front post around the same stitch. Now chain 1, and because these stitches would be the ones that we would crochet in the chain 2 space, the stitch that I would normally crochet would be this one. So after the chain 1, go right ahead and work in the next, around the next double crochet. Okay, so do not skip it for this point over here. Okay, so wrap your hook around the double crochet and work the front post double crochet. And now again, chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one and work the front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one and work your front post double crochet. So keep working the same steps going downwards, and here in the end your last front post double crochet will come around the third stitch counting backwards. So 1, 2, 3. Right here on this stitch will be your last front post double crochet. You're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and on the last stitch again we're going to work the 3 double crochet increase in the same stitch. I have completed crocheting going downwards, and as I mentioned before I turned the video off, the last stitch, the last front post, was on the third stitch counting from the end. Chain 1, skip the next stitch and work the 3 double crochet on the last stitch of the row. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn the work to start row 8, which is the third row of repetitions. And what I want to show you before we continue is the nice outline that we have right here once we have finished working the front post double crochet on the previous row. Okay, now in this row we are going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch. But as always, on the first and last stitches, we always want to have 3 double crochet increase. Okay, so chain 3 and 2 more stitches on the first stitch. Now work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space. 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space. So keep working 1 double crochet on top of every stitch and in every chain 1 space. Of course, when you come here in the top, okay, work 1 double crochet on those 3 stitches. In the chain 2 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in every stitch going downwards, where again in the end, in the last stitch, we're going to work the 3 double crochet increase. I have completed row 8, which is the third row of repetitions. And see how it gets a little wiggly over here? Do not mind that. You haven't done any mistakes. Once we block the project in the end, everything is going to straighten out. Okay, so I'm going to mention in the end the process on how to block it to straighten it out. So now we're going to start row 9, which is the fourth row of repetitions. Okay, and we are going to do the wrong side of our project now. So chain 3. Work 3 stitches, 2 more stitches, sorry, on the first double crochet, and we're going to repeat the same exact steps that we did on the previous row where we worked the chain 1 and the front post double crochet. So chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one and work a front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one and work a front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one and work a front post double crochet. chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook around the second one, and work a front post double crochet. So since you are crocheting correctly, the stitches that you're working a front post are aligned with the ones that you did on the previous row. See how it looks? Here, here. Okay. Now keep working a chain 1 and a front post double crochet around the second stitch. And once you reach at this point again, your last stitch is going to fall right over here on the second stitch before the end on the stitches that you're going upwards. So you're going to work your front post double crochet here, then you're going to chain 1 and you're going to work your 3 front post double crochet around the last stitch, chain 2, do not crochet in the chain 2 space, and go ahead, start going downwards by working 3 front post double crochet around the first stitch, chain 1, 1 front post around the next stitch, and from here on you're chaining 1, skipping 1 stitch, and work a front post around the second stitch, chain 1, front post around the second stitch, and so on, going downwards. And right here in the end, on the third stitch before you finish, this will be your last front post double crochet, chain 1, and 3 stitches on the last stitch of the row. I completed row 9, which was the wrong side of my project, and now we're going to start row 10, which is going to be the right side and the 5th row of repetitions. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, work the 2 double crochet on the first stitch, and on this row we're going to be working 1 double crochet in every stitch, going upwards and then downwards. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space. Okay, so keep working 1 double crochet in every stitch. Up here, okay, 1 double crochet on top of double crochet, 1 in the chain 1 space, 1 in every one of those 3 stitches, and then in the chain 2 space again work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, then 1 double crochet in every stitch going downwards, and again in the last stitch of the row, in the last stitch of the row work your 3 double crochet increase to finish the row. I have completed row 10, which was the 5th row of repetitions, and this is how my work looks like at this point. So in row 10, going upwards, I have a total of 41 double crochet up right before the increases. Okay, so I have 41 stitches. Then I work the center with 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and 41 double crochet, then going downwards. Now we're going to work the last 3 rows of repetitions, which are going to be my grind squares. So we're going to start row 11, which is the 6th row of repetitions. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. And this is the wrong side now. In the first stitch, as always, work 2 more double crochet, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 4th and work a set of 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 4th and work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 4th and work 3 double crochet in the same stitch, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, so keep working the same pattern going upwards. Now right here, if you have crocheted correctly, the last set of 3 double crochet will fall right in here. Okay, then you're going to have 3 stitches to skip, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go right in the chain 2 space to work your 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. In the 4th, work your first set of 3 and keep working the same pattern going downwards, where your last set of 3 is going to fall right in here. Then you're going to chain 1 and skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to work in the 4th stitch, which is going to be the last one, your last 3 double crochet. Okay, so do not forget, always after every set of 3 we always work a chain 1 space. Only in the center we always work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. I have completed crocheting row 11, which was my 6th row of repetitions, and now row 12 and 13 we're going to work off camera because we're going to be working the same exact steps. So the last 3 rows of my pattern are going to be with a grind square. So now going upwards without counting the sets that I have on the increase, I have a total of 11 sets of 3 double crochet. Okay, then I have the 2 sets of my increase and 11 sets going downwards. Okay, sorry, the last stitch just frogged. Now in order to start the new row, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work 2 more double crochet in the 1st stitch, and from here on we are always going to be chaining 1 and work your set of 3 in every chain space. So 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, in the next chain space 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the next chain space, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and keep working the same exact steps. Okay, then you're going to reach here, you're going to work your last 3 double crochet, chain 1, work in the increase in the chain 2 space, you're going to work again 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1 and 3 double crochet. Keep working up until the end. Over here you're going to work your last 3 double crochet, chain 1 and your last 3 stitches in the last stitch of the row. Then you're going to chain 3, turn your work and follow the same exact steps as we did on this row that I just explained, okay, all around. Once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how our project looks at that point, and I'm going to explain how you're going to repeat those steps all over again. I have completed working the 2 extra rows of camera. Okay, now I have finished working my repetitions. I have a total of 13 rows starting from the beginning, and the rows that I'm going to repeat are from row 6 through row 13. Okay, and I want you to repeat those rows for a total of 2 times. Okay, so what did we do in row 6? I worked 1 double crochet in every stitch. That's what I want you to do over here as well. Then in row 7 I worked a front post double crochet, chain 1 space, front post double crochet, chain 1 space, and so on. And please be aware on how we crocheted on the center over here on those rows. Then again I worked 1 double crochet in every stitch, so that's what I want you to repeat. So repeat 2 more times rows 6 through row 13. Okay, and I want to show you the good side of our project. And every time that you work those front post double crochet, the lines here, those little 3D outline that's being formed over here, they are always going to be formed on this side, because this is the good side of our project. So once I repeat 2 more times those rows of repetitions, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how we're going to continue from there on. I have completed crocheting the shawl part of my project, and the total width at this point is about 78 centimeters from the one corner to the other. And I have worked a total of 3 times the repetitions. Okay, so 1, 2, and the last repetition 3. What we're going to do now is I am going to fold my project so I am seeing the good side when I fold it. We're going to work a few chains. We're going to join over here, and we're going to start crocheting in the round over here to start creating the infinity scarf. Okay, so let me zoom in so it's easier for you to see the steps that I'm working. Okay, so I am going to chain 10, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take your other corner and work a slip stitch on the first stitch, and because this is a chain 3, put your hook on the peak up here, the third chain, up here, and work your slip stitch. So what I just did is I gave a little more width onto my project. This way it's wide enough to pull up the cowl and make it into a hood. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which counts as a double crochet, and I'm going to be working 2 stitches under the first double crochet of every row. So what you're going to be doing is pull up the stitch and work 2 double crochet under it. 1, 2. Okay, so along with the chain 3 so far I have 3 double crochet. The first stitch of the next row right over here, 2 stitches, 4 and 5. The first double crochet of the next row, it's right over here, 6 and 7. Okay, the first stitch of the next row, 8 and 9. So what we have here, it seems as we have pairs of double crochet, and this happens because we work 2 stitches under every double crochet. Now keep working 2 double crochet on the first stitch of every row. Okay, 2 double crochet all around. Once you reach here, the center of your magic circle, you're going to work the 2 stitches on the first stitch of this row, 1 double crochet in the center of your magic circle or your chain circle that you have started. Okay, your ring here, we are only going to work 1 stitch. Then again 2 stitches on the first stitch of the next row, 2 stitches on top of every double crochet all around. And once I reach here where I'm going to have to crochet on top of the 10 chains, I'm going to turn my video back on to work it together, and then we're going to see how to start the next row. I completed crocheting all around with a total of 118 stitches. Okay, and now we're going to crochet on top of each of the chains. So starting from the first one, and we're crocheting in each chain. Okay, so 119, next one, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, and my last chain, 128. So throughout the project, up until I finish, I'm going to be working 128 double crochet in each row. And every time I finish my row, I'm going to be working a slip stitch on the first stitch, which is the chain 3. So counting from the bottom to the top, put your hook in that third chain, slip stitch, chain 3, and in every new row that we start, we are always turning our work because we want to have a straight seam. If you don't turn your work in every row, you're going to have a diagonal seam and it's not going to look nice on our project. Okay, and always start from the first double crochet. So 2, next stitch, 3, 4, 5, and keep crocheting all around up until your last stitch, this one over here, for a total of 128 double crochet. I have worked my 128 double crochet all around. Now put your hook on the first stitch, and as we said is the third chain counting from the bottom to the top, and again chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Now we are on the good side of our project, okay, on the right side, and what I'm going to be doing in every 4 rows, I'm going to be crocheting on the back loops of the double crochet. This way I'm going to give a little, you know, it's going to make a little outline over here of the stitches, and it's going to look a little nicer, okay? So it's not just only boring double crochet, but you can leave it plain double crochet if you want without crocheting on the back loops, okay? So in order to work in the back loop, instead of working in the stitch, when we do that, we have the front loop and the back loop, and this is the loop that we want to be grabbing every time that we crochet. So when I look my stitches in the top, I'm going to be putting my hook in the center and I'm going to be grabbing the back loop. So let's start. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and keep crocheting all around for a total of 128 stitches. Now this row is going to be the last one because we are going to be working in the back loops in every 4th row. In the 4th row, you're always going to be on the right side of your project. Again, you don't have to do the back loops if you don't like them. You can go ahead and just work plain double crochet regularly in the stitches. Okay, if you don't want to do it in every 4th row, you can do it in every 6th row. Okay, there's no right or wrong. You can play around with the stitches as you like and as you prefer, depending on the end results you want to have on your project. Okay, so keep working 128 all around. Once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on. I have completed crocheting all around with 128 stitches in the back loops of my double crochet. Put your hook on the first stitch, slip stitch, chain 3, and turn your work to start crocheting on the inside. And look what a beautiful result we have so far. Okay, now this is how it looks when you crochet on the back loops. It gives a little a little 3D results. Now again, if you don't like it, you can go ahead and crochet regularly in the stitches. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crochet on the inside one row, the second row regular, the third row regular in the stitches, and in the fourth row again I'm going to work in the back loops. Okay, so every time I'm crocheting on the when I'm on the fourth row and I'm on the outside, okay, I'm always going to be crocheting on the back loops of the double crochet. Now if you don't want it, just go ahead and keep crocheting regularly in the stitches. So once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on. I'm going to mention the total length of the project. I'm going to mention how many rows in total I have worked for the infinity scarf part, and I'm going to mention how long the infinity scarf separately is, and lastly we're going to see how to attach the fringes. I have completed crocheting the infinity scarf part of my project, and I worked a total of 42 rows of double crochet. The total height from here, from where we started up until the top over here in the end, is 40 centimeters, and the total length of my project is 84 centimeters from the top going down here in the center of the shawl. Now, since we have finished, what we're going to do to close the project is, after your last slip stitch, chain one, cut the yarn and fasten off. Okay, and go ahead and weave in all of your ends. Once you weave in all of your ends, what we're going to do is we're going to attach the fringes. Okay, and let me zoom in so it's easier for you to see how I'm attaching my fringes. Now I'm attaching 2 strands of yarn on every fringe. Okay, and the total length of my fringes are, let's measure, about 35 to 36 centimeters. Okay, so my fringes are about 36 centimeters long. Now fold them in half, okay, and hold it to form a loop. Now we're going to attach fringes in every chain one space that we crocheted after every set of 3 double crochet. Okay, so in every chain one space I'm going to attach my fringes. So put your hook in the chain space that you want to attach the fringe. Put your hook under the loops, okay. Grab the yarn, pull it through the chain space, and now you have a loop on your hook. Grab the pieces of yarn that are 4 now because we folded in half, pull them through the loop, and tighten up. And here we go, our fringes. Now attach fringes in every chain space on both sides, and once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how our infinity scarf looks completed. I have completed my project, and this is how it looks. Okay, now before I turn my video off, I mentioned that I would use 2 strands for each fringe, but because it looked kind of poor, I used a total of 3 strands for every fringe. Okay, and the process is exactly the same. You fold it in half, okay, and you do your fringes, and I attached fringes all the way up here in the end of the shawl, up here, because when you wear your project, you will see that the fringes are needed all the way up here. Okay, and this is how our project looks like. Now down here in the corner, it seems like it's a little wiggly. Now this is not wrong, it's not a mistake. Many shawls have this in the end in the corner, and this happens because of the increases that we work in every row. Now in order to avoid this, in order to fix it, do not iron your project for any reason, because you're going to destroy it. What we want to do is we want to block it. You want to pin it down on a straight surface, wet it a little bit, okay, let it dry, and once it dries out, it'll seem as if it's ironed, and this is how you block your projects. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like, leave a comment, and share it so your friends can see it as well. Thanks again. Bye bye.